Hi Capricorn, welcome to your July 2019 Astrology 33 reading. We have a Celtic cross spread in front of us as always, which is normally a 10 card spread, but you guys got some extra cards that came out there. And we also have two Oracle decks that I pull cards from at the end to help tie everything together, and you guys got an extra card there in one of those decks. And then we also have a mudra card to get to. So, also, before I forget, for those of you who are interested in booking a personal reading with me, following me on Instagram, or donating to the channel, please check out the description of the video for more info on that. Alright, so let's get right into it. Starting with the main situation position, you guys have the Ace of Pentacles. So, what I always say with the Ace energies is it's definitely, usually to me, it's in the idea phase, so it's not necessarily something concrete at this point. The reason I think of that is, usually you see that hand coming out what appears from the clouds, right? So to me, that symbolizes that relationship of it being in the thought process phase, whereas, if it's the page of pentacles, for example, as opposed to the ace, then I would say, all right, yeah, there might actually be an offer being made, actual movement towards this stability. But right now, this could just be saying that you might have a new idea regarding finances. This could be anything though, pointing to stability, especially for you guys, since you are in the earth element. But yeah, to me, this just represents you definitely have something on your mind as far as a new start with finances for the majority of you. But what's interesting is in the challenger obstacle position, we have the Ace of Swords in reverse. So this could be pointing to a few things. One thing that comes to mind with this, the first thing I thought of was the fact that you guys are going to have Mercury going retrograde this month in your opposite sign. So, that could definitely cause some confusion because, yes, your opposite sign is definitely a house of relationships as far as intimate relationships, but it's also just, it can also be related to business partnerships as well. So, when I see this coming up in the reverse in the challenger obstacle position, this could mean that, maybe some communication you've received that might have you thinking of making this move, it might not be too clear. It could, I wouldn't mean necessarily to say it's blatantly deceptive, but it could just be either you didn't understand the information correctly, or yes, in some cases it could actually be outright deceptive communication that you received that has you thinking that this would be a good move to make. So just something to keep in mind there. And you may even already realize that, and maybe that's why you just haven't in the idea phase. You might have moved it to the back of your mind, like, okay, I might make this move, but maybe you're already detecting that, okay, but yeah, something about what I heard or what I read, whatever, doesn't really seem to add up. So maybe I'll hold off on that for a bit. Either way, I would say that holding off for now might be a good idea. Like I said, especially with the fact that you guys are going to have that retrograde going on in your opposite sign and eclipses going on, so it's going to be a pretty hectic month. Anyway, so if you can hold off on something, this might be a good month to do so. In the foundation position, we have the Two of Swords and the Four of Cups. So these are interesting energies here. This is actually a card of Libra. So, that's your 10th house. So this could definitely be trying to make a decision as far as career, right? Like I said, with the Ace of Pentacles, maybe you're thinking about pursuing a new career path, switching jobs, maybe even making a lateral move at the job you're already at, or getting a promotion. But to me, this shows that there's some indecisiveness there, and you're trying to make your decision based strictly on rational thought versus emotions, because if we look at the water in the background and the moon, those could both symbolize emotions, and this person clearly has their back turned to those things. And then also, with the blindfolds, to me it's definitely saying that they strictly want to make, they even have their heart chakra blocked off. So it's really like, all right, I strictly want to make this decision based on logic, nothing more, nothing less. And you could just be fixated on that. And then with the Four of Cups, to me, this is actually a Cancer card. It's the last 10 degrees of Cancer. And I will say, when you guys have that full moon eclipse, actually, the sun will be in those degrees of Cancer. So this might be pointing to that timeline. But yeah, what I would say with this is usually this is receiving offers that you're not satisfied with. So again, like I said, maybe if it's some kind of deception, could be business, any kind of partnership. Um, maybe people even making an offer to buy your house, let's say, is a random example, and you know that they're offering the offers they're giving you are low, so you're like not really accepting them at this point. And part of you might want to really take the offer, you might want to accept it, right? And maybe that's what the Two of Swords is about, where you're like, okay, you know what? I have to just strictly play this by logic, yeah, I might be overexcited to make this move, but let me hold off. And the Four of Cups just represents an energy of, more and more offers might be coming in, but you're not necessarily happy with them. The only thing that's tricky, though, to me, what I say is, with this energy, it's like, okay, yes, it's obvious this person doesn't like what they're getting, but okay, well, what do you want, right? It's like you're just staying there, getting these offers you don't want, but you're also not going out after what you do want. And then this is also a very stuck and stagnant energy, too. So that could be what the blockage is right now. Although, like I said, with this month, that might be a good idea to hold off if you can anyway, so there is that. In the past position, we have the Nine of Swords. So yeah, this is definitely something that's been weighing heavily on your mind, I'm guessing, for the majority of you. This represents losing sleep. Just a lot of anxiety and panic over making some kind of decision. This is actually a card of Gemini as well, so if we wanted to make this a timeline, might have been around the first 10 days of June when you first started to experience this feeling. That could be what's going on there. And especially, Mars has been in your opposite sign. At the time I'm recording this, it still is. I'm actually recording this while it's opposing Saturn, which is your ruler, and in your sign. So definitely wouldn't surprise me if you had a lot of energy going on. Mercury's going to be making some aspects like that too. So yeah, could just be pointing to that. All right, and then in the present position, we have the Hangman, and we have the Three of Cups. So this is an interesting combination as well. Three of Cups is usually a celebratory aspect. Usually it points to long-term connections. So, maybe with your family, or just friends that you've had for a long time. I know some readers like to think of this as third-party situations in relationships. I don't pick up on that vibe. Rarely, I rarely do with this card anyway, but yeah. I would say with this could just be saying that you're holding off on celebrating. Now it could be as simple as maybe people are inviting you out to parties and you're just like, you know what, I'm really trying to figure out what I want to do with, this could be a pretty big decision that you're trying to decide on, and you could just be like, yeah, declining those offers. This could also just be pointing to a timeline, which is pretty convenient, which is to say, this is the middle 10 degrees of Cancer, this card. So that would actually be more or less the first 10 days of July, which is when this reading is for July. So could just be saying that right when the month opens up, you're in this very introspective mood. And basically at the time I'm recording this as well, we actually have a full moon going on in Sagittarius, which is your 12th house, and this is actually a Pisces energy, so that could definitely be what's causing you to go inward too. Maybe that energy is really just making you reflect and try to look at things from a different perspective. And again, a lot of energy, you're not being ready to make a move. You might have the ideas, but you're not ready to put them into action just yet. That's the main vibe that I'm picking up here in all of these cards. In the near future position, we have the Eight of Swords and the Ten of Swords. So we have all three of the Gemini cards on the table at this point, because you have the 8, the 9 in the past, and then the 10. So on a more positive front, we can just say, you could look at this as a progression, saying, okay, you are at that Eight of Swords point, very similar to that Two of Swords energy, just stagnant, trying to decide what move to make, but not ready to make any move. The 10 could be just pointing out that, all right, now you're finally putting the thought process to an end. Now you're like moving away from, okay, I thought about this as long as I need to think about it. Thinking about it anymore isn't going to improve things. I'm ready to make my move, right? That could be what's going on there. But this could certainly point to endings for some of you as well. And with eclipse season, that could happen too. This could even just be pointing to the fact that, you know, you were reluctant to make a move, and then the eclipse season might come along and actually make the move for you, essentially. That's the case, you know, usually they are karmically meant to play out that way. That's the importance of eclipse season. It's just that these are going to be hitting you guys heavy as long as the North and South Node are in Cancer and Capricorn, because obviously that's, you know, going to have an immediate impact on your life. All right, in the position of your influence on the situation, we see the Two of Wands. So to me, this supports what we were already talking about, which is to say that, you know, it seems like you're moving out of the thought process stage and actually ready to take action this month. So, you know, that seems to be what the shift is. This is actually a card of Aries, the first 10 degrees of Aries. And, you know, Chiron is there, but there's not much else going on in Aries right now. So that could be what's going on there. It could just be saying you thought things over, you know, basically maybe overthought some of these things, right? Like I said, with the 8, 9, and 10 of swords all on the spread, which is pretty intense. And now you've decided, all right, I'm ready to make moves. Now, for some of you, it could be a literal move, since we see the guy, you know, he has like that globe in his hand and he's looking out over the horizon. To me, this usually signifies making some kind of move. So it could be travel or actual relocation for some of you. In the position of the environment's influence on the situation, we have the Empress. So this is actually a card, one of the cards that points to Taurus energy usually. So you could certainly be dealing with a Taurus. Like we said, we do have Uranus in that sign. So, you know, this is often a card that represents fertility as well. So what I will say is be mindful that you could actually encounter a sudden pregnancy this month. And the reason I say that is because we're also going to have Mars is going to square Uranus. So Mars is basically going to be in Leo through the month of July, and it's actually going to make a square aspect with Uranus. So that's your 8th house, Leo. And then Taurus being your 5th house, that could definitely point to, in my opinion, some sudden pregnancy that you might not have expected. For those of you who are trying to get pregnant, by all means, you know, that you could take that as a sign to put a lot of effort into that this month, if you will. But for those of you who would not want that to happen, definitely keep that in mind for this month. And then Mercury, when it starts, is retrograde as well. It's going to basically make that exact same aspect. It's going to square Uranus and then start to go backwards. So definitely keep that in mind. You could even either find out about a sudden pregnancy, or you could actually end up conceiving this month. So something to keep in mind there. Another way, you know, this could just be pointing out the fact that, again, with this being a card representing Venus, you know, clear as day, we do see the Venus symbol in the card. You know, Venus will be in your opposite sign for the majority of July. So that could be what it's pointing to as well. And if that's the case, you know, you guys might have been having some conflicts in your relationships with Mars moving through that sign for the past month and a half, basically. And now with it moving on to Leo and then Venus coming into its place, you know, maybe that'll give you a chance to clear up some of those conflicts that you might have been having, and definitely bring out an energy to smooth things out a bit more. And speaking of which, at the bottom of the deck, we do have the Five of Wands too. So there definitely could have been some conflicts going on with you guys. Wouldn't surprise me. But keep in mind, you know, for better or worse, at least astrologically, it looks like that, you know, is more common to play out. So it's not just you, you know, it's not necessarily you did anything wrong, just it's how energies play out sometimes. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Magician. So to me, especially going with that Two of Wands energy and the Ace of Pentacles, it seems like you're ready to make moves, but something's keeping you from doing so right now. Like I said, with that Ace of Swords, I don't blame you with it being reverse. There could definitely be some confusion or deception with communication, and with Mercury going retrograde. On one hand, it actually can clear things up. If there already is confusion from before the retrograde, it could actually serve to bring you that clarity. But you know, like I said, if you can put things off for the month, try to do so. But yeah, the Magician is definitely just that energy of manifesting. And then if we look at their position as well, some of you could definitely actually want to become pregnant because he's pointing down at the Empress card and then up at the outcome cards, which are the Strength card, which is actually a card of Leo, which is again another point, you know, another pointer to your 8th house. Leo is your 8th house, and that's his house of sex. Well, among other things, but that's one of the things. And in some decks, the Strength card is actually referred to as lust. So you could do the math there. And then Ace of Cups. And for me, I don't know about for other readers, but for me, I actually view the Ace of Cups energy as a pregnancy energy as well. I just view this artwork here, it makes me think of the point of conception. So something to think about there, like I said, especially with that Empress. So something to keep in mind. This could definitely just be saying you guys are in the mood this month. But like I said, if you're not trying to actually conceive, might want to heed that warning. If you are, there's your excuse to practice, if you will, a lot this month. All right, let's go to your oracle cards now. And the first oracle card you guys got is a leg up. There's the artwork for it, and it's number 34. So let's see what that has to say. Okay, it says essential meanings: receiving help, delegating authority, interdependence. The oracle's message: you've come to a point where going it alone is no longer optimal for you. Life has a way of presenting you with the perfect people to align with who can give you a leg up during this next phase of your journey. Help comes to you in all the areas of your life where you need a boost. The trick is to accept that aid so freely given. When you embrace interdependence, allowing teamwork and independence to commingle, miracles happen. Now is such a time. So it's an interesting message there. Like I said, with that Ace of Swords in reverse, you know, there is that possibility for deception, but maybe that Empress energy in the position of the environment, and like I said, the fact that you'll have Venus in your opposite sign, and actually there's going to be a new moon eclipse early on in the month in your opposite sign as well. So maybe there will be some supportive people coming around for you guys this month. The relationship message says, relationships that are healthy thrive on interdependence. It's important to recognize that you need others as much as they need you. You must allow people to support you just as you are there for them. This is a time to be vulnerable, to speak up about your needs, and to ask for them to be fulfilled. Trust. You will be met with kindness and love. Don't expect others to read your mind, though. Ask and it is given. So it's interesting. Maybe that's what this is all about, too. You know, maybe it's a lack of communication on your end that might be causing the issue. Maybe that's saying the Ace of Pentacles is like, yes, you can get that new start, or, you know, just an improvement of circumstances, but the Ace of Swords in reverse could be saying that to you. You're holding back your communication. So maybe that's what it is for some of you, especially, like I said, these are some high anxiety sword cards you guys got. But yeah, hopefully that resonates for you if that's the case. And then the prosperity message says, now is the perfect time to seek advice from a mentor or business advisor who has been where you want to go, to help you get there too. If you do, you will receive very good counsel that will aid in your prosperity. It may also be the case that your endeavors have grown and you are in a position where you just can't do it all yourself anymore. Time to bring on those who can give you a leg up. Trust that help is available and it will indeed appear. Delegate authority to others so you can take steps toward your big dream. The perfect people will arrive at the perfect time, so long as you step forward with just a mustard seed of faith. So hopefully you guys got something from that message as well. Definitely sounds pretty good. Let's move on to the next deck. This is actually the Spirit Animal Oracle deck, and you guys got two cards from there. The first one is Peacock Spirit. It says, let it shine. And the number for that is 46. So let's take a look at that message. Okay, it says, when is the last time you shook a tail feather and shined your light for all to see? Within each of us is a peacock spirit yearning for expression, and you are called now to show the world the gorgeous creature you are, for you are a manifestation of spirit. Come out from the shadows, Peacock Spirit says, and show your true colors so that others may be inspired to express their own exquisiteness. Dance as if you remember that you are made of stardust and grace, filled with life force energy and sparkling light. You are a channel for divine love, and your dance is one of a kind. Catch the light and help it to shimmer and dance in celebration of your good fortune of being right here, right now. Spirit wants you to be joyful so that others may get up and dance along with you. So, and that's, interestingly, I didn't think of that at first, but that could also be what the strength card is pointing to as well in your outcome position, because strength, again, pointing to the sign of Leo. If we think of that Leo energy, right, it's pretty bold, outgoing energy. So maybe that's what that's saying, is that in order for you to manifest what you want, you have to put yourself out there, which almost supports what that first message was saying too about, you might have to speak up about what you need. And it looks like you might get there at some point, because that Aries energy, that's a pretty bold energy too, and it's another cardinal energy like yours. So maybe that'll play out for you guys this month. All right, the second card you guys got is Badger Spirit. It says, be fearless and bold. So already at least sounds like it's going to somewhat tie into the same theme. But yeah, the number for that is 4, actually. But yeah, definitely seems like they encourage you to put yourself out there in some way, shape, or form this month. All right, it says, Badger Spirit rejoices at your persistence and commitment to what is true for you. Whatever you seek, your tenacity and faith in your partnership with Spirit is paying off, and the results will soon coalesce into form in your world. The gift of Badger Spirit is the surety that taking a risk now and being courageous, fearless, and bold will yield wondrous results. This is a time to harness your will and apply it consistently to the pursuit of your dreams. Know that no matter the temporary outer conditions, you will manifest your desires in divine timing and in the form that Spirit deems best for you. Badger Spirit says you have what it takes to get what you want, so assert yourself. Be fearless and bold, shining your light as your purpose calls you into the world. New relationships are also given a green light now. Don't be afraid to make the first move. Badger Spirit loves your brave and mighty heart. So, like I said, ironically, that does line up perfectly with the fact that there will be that new moon eclipse very early in July for you guys in your opposite sign, so that could definitely signal a new relationship starting. So at least for some of you, that might be the case. All right, and then the last thing we have is a mudra card. So for those of you who haven't seen my videos before, I've been pulling mudra cards for all the signs, and basically what mudras are is they're hand gestures that you use while meditating, and their purpose is to help clear up blockages, anywhere from actual physical blockages to more of a mental, emotional blockage. And the mudra you guys got for this month is this one here, and that's the Garuda mudra. And the keyword for this is maturity. I mean, that's your specialty, Capricorn, right? So I don't know. Hopefully you guys can get something out of this, though. Alright, so yeah, I'll just hold this up for a bit in case you guys want to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it says. And we can't fit everything in the shot here, so I'll actually move it up in a few seconds so you guys can get the rest of it too. Alright, so yeah, you could see for benefits it says improves intelligence, increases digestive fire, activates Manipura chakra, the navel center, builds martial prowess, and according to legend serves as protection against snakes, snake bites, and venom in general. So there you go. If you guys are going to be out in the wild, maybe you could get some from that too. But yeah, I'll put the name of that mudra in the description if you're interested in looking into that a bit more, if it sounds like something you think would benefit you. But we'll wrap up there, guys, and I'll see you next month. All right, bye.